Are you ready, Rich?
Yep.
Okay. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Austin. This
is Richard. You always step on me. I never know how to interact when you go.
Step on you?
Yeah, it's like, and this is, and I'm just supposed to like out there to ether. Richard.
Wait,
like,
who said?
sounds weird.
Who introduces himself saying this is Richard?
You make it sound weird. You don't set me up right.
I am Austin.
Always frustrated.
I am Austin, and this is.
And just like say,
what do you
Richard,
want me to say?
It sounds weird. Okay. I don't like it.
Back was an episode. You know what? Screw you. I don't even want to hear your reactions. I'm doing this for content only.
That's what we've been doing this entire time.
Yeah, it's true.
Over a year. And like, it's amazing that we haven't strangled each other sitting here. We're like this close, and this is the closest that we ever come, because any further and it just strangle his throat.
1-star reviews. I give Richard a 1-star review, and we're going to be looking at 1-star reviews of Stormlight Archive, the books on Goodreads. We did this for Lord of the Rings. Richard gave his visceral reactions to the Lord of the Ring reviews.
Overstating it, but yeah, sure. We have to clickbait that, so you go click that video down below.
Yeah, flamboyant language, got to emphasize. Okay, but now I have picked out some reviews here. 1-star reviews from Goodreads on the Stormlight Archive. Mm-hmm. You have not seen this, so Rich has not seen these here. You're going to be reacting to them for the first time. I picked some funny ones, some ones that might grind your gears, grind the audience's gears. Let's get into it. You ready?
All right, let's go.
Here's a review. Let's start it. So Glenn gives Stormlight Archive, this is on the Way of Kings specifically, 1 star. And Glenn says, "What can I say? I must be a freak. I forced myself through this with very little pleasure in its reading. All the main characters never feel in any real peril. None seem to have any clear goals that drive them or the reader to care about where they are heading. The action sequences felt like someone describing scenes from a computer game. To sum it up, nothing really happens, but it takes an awful long time doing it. I'd say, at best, the book consists of 80% world building and 20% plot. I'd much rather the plot uncover the world than the other way around. I fail to understand why this is so loved." Richard, thoughts?
That's got to be a prank.
You think so?
Like, okay, look. Maybe they have a point of world, like fantasy often gets that, like, oh, they're world building too much and they're not letting, like, they're letting the world building get in the way of the plot. I can see that in like fantasy in general. I get that complaint. I can understand it.
All right.
But all the main characters never feel in any real peril?
And
I don't
that's sin 1, but sin 2 right
that
after
doesn't
that.
Make sense.
Glenn says none seem to have any clear goals that drive them.
Kaladin not wanting to be a slave is not enough of a goal?
Shailen has a direct goal in the first page of, hey, I need to get this to save my family. It's the most clearly stated goal.
That's not even a spoiler, because it happens like literally her first chapter.
Oh, no, it happens right away.
I need this thing to save my family. That's a goal.
Literally, it tells you, hey, here is my goal, reader. So that's what shocked me a bit.
Dalinar less of a specific goal other than, I don't know, save the kingdom. Don't die.
Don't. This is on Way of Kings specifically, so even before the whole unity and
but no, he has
still in this goal. Yeah.
He has overarching goals because he's running a kingdom and running an army. But yeah, no, that doesn't make sense. I can understand a world building point to it, like that's just how fantasy goes. But I will say that Stormlight's a little different. The plot moves forward and explores the world. It's not how he describes it.
Glenn says it's the other way around.
Yeah, no.
So you think this is a fake comment?
Fake.
Okay.
Fake news.
Richard approved. Fake comment.
You are fake news.
All right. Next review. Here we go.
Anything that doesn't comply to my understanding has to be fake.
It's a bot. ChatGPT. By the way, that review was written in 2017 before ChatGPT, but it was ChatGPT.
Of course.
No.
All right. Next review. This is also on the Way of Kings specifically. 1 star. Simeon, right? Is that how you say that person?
Fake name.
Simeon says on a 1-star review, couldn't get past more than a few pages. I think they said past wrong. P-A-S. Okay, anyways. Couldn't get past more than a few pages due to how badly it is written. Okay, sorry. It is a little ironic that I think they misspelled past. Right, it's P-A-S-T there. Past more than a few. How badly it was written. It's just ironic saying that it was poorly written. I just had to point that out. Sorry. That's a bit nitpicky. But anyways, Simeon continues by saying he uses the word shard bearer in every other sentence to indicate his adversary. There are other words you can use like foe, enemy, opponent, etc. Seems like the author doesn't own a dictionary. And another thing, just because it is a fantasy, it doesn't mean you need weird names like Zeth. It is a stereotypical bad habit that writers use because they think it makes the characters cool. Well, newsflash, douchebag. It makes it cringy, and it seems like a teenager wrote it. Come on, that's pretty funny.
I want my assassin in white to be just
Steve.
Jeff.
We went to same idea, different names. The assassin in white. His name was Brad. So that's pretty funny. I don't know why they're complaining, but reading a fantasy about fantasy
few pages. That's how far that person Simeon has no patience.
No. Did it say?
Also, just doesn't seem to like fantasy. This is just. Oh yeah, the author made stuff up and is using that to tell a story because it's fantastical in nature, and he doesn't like it when things are fantastical in nature. Just read your mystery novels, dude. It's fine. Or read your news articles. But if you're getting into fantasy, you're going to get fantastical names, fantastical weapons, and different things that don't exist.
You're being pretty nice, though. You said that in a nice way, a nice tone. I'm proud.
Yeah, it's uncharacteristic for me.
Now,
I'm off my rocker.
No, I'm going to get you, though. Some of these get a little worse, so
okay.
we'll see if some tick you off a bit more. This next review, this is on Words of Radiance.
So they have at least read the first book.
Yes. This is...
And continue to the second.
Yes. Now, Jordan says, this is by far the worst book I have ever read. Dreadful, not worth the paper it was written on. Lift your game, Sanderson. This was a disgusting and poor attempt of a book. And then right after that, there's a quick edit on the comment that says, this was my explicitive of a housemate, Sanderson is king. So
comment.
Someone went on to their friend's Goodreads account and typed that up. It's fake.
It's a fake comment. Yeah, no, that's not much to be said about that other than
you can't hate on Words of Radiance. It's just
your
impossible.
friend's a dick. Your friend's a little bit of a dick. But trying to besmirch your own character by writing that.
It just reminded me of you. That's why I put this in here.
I'd probably do that. I could see myself doing that too.
Next review is also a 1-star review. This is from Matthew Miller. It says he's an author.
Ooh, and he has his own picture and everything. Yep. That's fancy.
We should probably blur that out. Don't go attack Matthew.
Who's gonna attack him, really?
Yeah.
Which audience?
Let's see. Well, after this review, we'll see. So Matthew says, the Emperor has no clothes. This book, and by the way, the book he's referred to, Way of Kings, this book has no plot. Its character have no motivations. They don't yearn. Their drives mean nothing. It's 1,270 pages of nonce. I don't regret the time, but it just wasn't very good. So this is the second comment now mentioning
I don't regret the time, but it just wasn't very good. I don't regret the time, and you're giving it a 1 star. On just a technical level, that's strange.
I gotta stop you. Because that's what you do. You like to hate things sometimes.
Yeah, no, but I don't regret the time. Meaning, books that 1 star, I regret having to spend the moments reading it.
Yeah.
That's what it means. But I don't regret the time means, he doesn't... he's glad he read it. I see
where you're taking this. Okay.
He's not sad or upset that he read the book. To that level. How is that a 1 star? On a technical level, I don't understand.
The way I
that.
took it, it's like when you read something you hate, like The Name of the Wind.
I regret that time.
Oh, you did?
I wish. I wish I didn't. I wish I could get the knowledge of not liking it without having to read it.
This changes my entire perception of you. You do realize
there comes a certain moment of I'm willing to spend some time hate reading or hate watching something.
Yeah.
There comes a point of it's a whole big ass book, hours and hours and hours of hate reading. Can't do it. I hate the maximum I did was this. I hate read. And to a point, it was more the sunk cost fallacy of reading that I've already read so much, I have to keep going through it. Like I was like, I'm not going to go 2,000 pages into a series and then quit at, with 700 pages to go. But I wanted to. I almost regret it. I did regret it. It's very unfortunate.
I'm getting a new perspective of you. I'm starting to like you a little bit more.
Oh, that you don't think that my veins are just filled with hate?
I thought you liked it. It's just you happen to hate a lot of things. It's not that you seek them out. It's just a happen chance. But I'm also surprised by this comment where he says the book has no plot and its characters have no motivations. This is the second one we've seen where they're thinking that the characters don't have motivations or goals. I don't know where that's coming from. Do you?
I mean, are they trying to read something deeper into it where they're trying to see, I don't know, world-saving goals? None of them have any, like, they're not there to save the world, I guess. They have more personal goals.
In book one, I guess so.
I mean, typically, like, you think your standard fantasy, like, think of Lord of the Rings. Frodo, going out to destroy the ring. It's pretty easy to say that they have big motivations and big goals, where it's world changing.
Kaladin's is don't die.
Yeah, maybe they just don't like personal goals. They want world-changing goals.
Fair point. All right, this next review is also
being very generous to him. I want that's overly generous.
I'm telling you, something like you had a nice coffee this morning or something. You're feeling good. This next 1-star review is also on the Way of Kings specifically. This is by Ryan, and he says, "We can now officially retire the saying, spinning your wheels, and replace it with carrying your bridge. No other book I've read has come as badly in need of an editor as this one. At half its length, it could have been a decent fantasy, though formulaic and without an original bone to its body. At 1,000 pages of simplistic characters, third-grade morality, YA quality prose, boring repetitive action, lack of originality, and finally something interesting in the last 25 pages to try and trick you into buying the next book, it becomes almost unbearably tedious. At least Robert Jordan waited 5 books before running out of ideas where Sanderson's is DOA. Then again, perhaps I should thank Sanderson for saving me the time of reading anything else he writes before I get further into this series." And Richard, that review there is the one that I'm poking you with, because he not only made fun of Sanderson, he made fun of, I was pointing in the wrong direction, the Wheel of Time. He made fun of your child. How do you respond to this man, Ryan?
What's strange is, like, the originality and all this stuff where, Robert Jordan, like, he got a ton of ideas past that. Like, I don't know, like, he's saying a lot of words that make sense. In context, they don't make sense. So, breaking it down for, like, simplistic characters. There are way more simplistic characters than the Stormlight Archive. Kaladin, a depressed soldier who is really good at killing, but who grew up being a doctor and being an apprentice to his father, a surgeon, and he goes to start a war. He goes to fight in a war to save his brother. Like, interesting stuff where he's failed trying to save people, and that gives him depression. And further on, like, he's an interesting character. He's an interesting heroic archetype. In all honesty, Kaladin is way more interesting than Rand al'Thor, the main character of the Stormlight Archive series.
No,
book
Wheel of Time.
Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
In Wheel of Time, book 1. Like, more interesting right off the bat. So, a little odd comparing those two. Third grade morality, I don't know. They all deal with interesting, like, whether or not to kill someone. They don't go on the kind of third grade mortality of, oh, never kill. Oh, we shouldn't kill people, even if it saves the world. Like, it's not that bad. And then you have Dalinar, which is, he's a war criminal. It's a war criminal.
Well, this is only a Way of Kings. He hasn't read that far.
He's a war criminal in Way of Kings.
You find that out that early?
Yes, you do.
Oh, yeah, you find that
Yes,
out.
you
don't
do.
know the extent
He's a
to
cool war criminal.
He's a war criminal without giving us the details to make it it's a little more digestible in book 1.
But no, it's interesting to see this kind of warmonger change.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting morality shift.
What do you think about what he says on the YA quality prose?
Just because it's not poetic doesn't mean it's not good. It's supposed to serve a certain purpose. And so I maybe can give you that, but not incredibly. Like, it's not YA, but it's certainly not Tolkien. Somewhere in between a Percy Jackson and Tolkien. But that's a lot of books. So, yeah, no, this is... again, it's a real long review to say a lot of nothing.
Fake review?
Fake review.
You are fake news.
Next review. This one's on specifically the Rhythm of War. 1 star again. And Chad says this. Went from medieval political thriller to nerd lore fever dream. I'll always long for the days when the story was about men wielding magical swords and shiny armor and not about depression, PTSD, and an incomprehensible babble of sci-fi fantasy jargon. And it is fitting his name is Chad.
Yeah, and you know what? Fair enough.
Fair enough is your response.
Like, thing is, like, kind of correct. I just like all those things. So, the one caveat is that previous books were also about depression and PTSD.
He should have seen the signs from book 1. When in part 1 of book 1, Kaladin decides not to kill himself this time.
Yeah.
And then Chad made it all the way to Rhythm of War and is just all of a sudden discovering, wait a second, I think this book's about depression. So Chad, I think Chad was deceived by his own perception of what he was reading. He might have thought it was going one way and missed all the clear signs that that's not that kind of book.
Yeah, no, this seems a little odd. But, I mean, it does turn into sci-fi fantasy techno-babble. I love that stuff. It's great. I love Rhythm of War's, like, delving into the weeds of how sound interacts with Stormlight and all this cool magical machinery stuff. I love that. It's not everyone's taste. Fine. It is a definitely different tone and different style of book than the previous 3.
This review's biggest sin is not saying this under the Way of Kings. Saying Rhythm of War, now it's turned into this thing. Well, it's been like that.
Yeah.
That's the series you got into. Okay, the next review, also 1 star, by Marie. How would you? Marie.
Mary would be Marry.
So
I believe this would be Marie.
Marie. Okay, so Marie.
And I just want you to know that I just bullshitted that and I said it with confidence and he just took that. It's the power I have over him. It's I can just say things. Even though I don't know what I'm saying, but he still believes me anyway. It's great.
So this person whose name starts with an M, this M letter starting person says this, and this is for the Way of Kings. She says, I'm not sure why this has so many 5-star reviews. I couldn't finish it. I was about 6 hours in and absolutely nothing had happened. The world was unique, I'll give it that, but the descriptions were repetitive and the characters were flat and unlikable. And if I had to hear "storm you" one more time, I was going to tear my hair out. Sanderson has been so hyped up, I was really expecting more. Storm this review.
I'm not sure at what point is 6 hours in.
In the audiobook, it's probably part 1.
Because here's the thing, I remember when I first started reading it, and yeah, I didn't get into it till the end of part 1. It took, it was the spoilers, by the way, probably have read it, but anyway, when Kaladin gets to the edge and is about to kill himself, and he decides not to. That was the point where I was actually sucked into the story. Up until that point, yeah, I wasn't that into. I was reading it because I had nothing else to do. And I wasn't super absorbed into it. Didn't really care for Shallan that much. Kaladin was kind of interesting, but I wasn't immediately latched onto the character.
That does make sense how you read a lot. You have nothing else to do.
Then, I'm now busy. I was thinking of revealing something. I thought better of it.
Just
I was
long
ruminating
silence.
on a retort and was like, nah, I gotta keep that one down. I gotta repress that, just push that one down for later.
No idea where you're going with that, but
Oh, I had an idea and then I dropped it. It's fine.
next review.
Comment down below what you think that retort was. Get your creative juices flowing.
I know you very well, and I have no clue where that was going. It was just you leaned in as if to say something, and then leaned back as if it was way too bad for for an online video. So, all right, this next review, also 1 star, is from Dominic. Dominic says, "This is The Way of Kings specifically. The main hero is a Superman. This one sentence removes all suspense and investment the reader could have had for the book. How am I supposed to feel anything for a character like that? That is how a book becomes incredibly boring. It is a slog. I skipped whole chapters of the book and I missed nothing at all. That's how much story and character progression there is in a 1 million pages long book. Trash, don't waste your time with this. Go read The Witcher or Malazan, a book of the Fallen. You know, books with actual story and characters who you actually care about."
Yeah, it just seems like someone a little snobbish. And yes, I understand the irony is there. But you're just kind of going like, I get it. You just like grimdark stuff. This ain't grimdark. He's not Kaladin isn't Superman, at least not yet. Like, in Way of Kings, he isn't yet. He kind of becomes like that and kind of a symbol of hope where I can see the point, like maybe end of Words of Radiance, or especially into Oathbringer.
Well, Oathbringer,
Kaladin
definitely
is
not Superman in Oathbringer.
By the end, I get that, but like,
Oh, I was trying to back you. I wasn't conflicting. I was trying to support you.
yeah, I don't like that. Don't do that.
You took it as in like, no, not. I was like, I was with you. I was trying to alley-oop you, and you just took the basketball and you threw it at someone in the stands.
I want to win by myself. I don't need your help.
It's so messed up.
But, oh God, no, like, I skipped whole chapters of the book and it missed absolutely nothing. Oh, I wonder why you didn't like a book that you skipped chapters of. Duh. You gotta read the book to know if you like the book. If you're like, if I said, oh yeah, I skipped every other chapter, I didn't like the book. Things just didn't make sense. It was not good. Of course you're not gonna like the book. You didn't read the book.
I won't say well said because I don't want to infringe and feel like I'm supporting you. So I'll just say you said something.
Good.
And here's the last review, folks, okay? This is on Rhythm of War specifically, and this is by Guy Zymos, and he said this after reading...
The Z is silent.
I'm not believing a word you say anymore. You shut your mouth. So this is Rhythm of War review, 1 star, final review. This is what they said. They said, long, boring, depressing, but I'm still going to read the next book in the series.
1 star, yeah, totally.
Why?
To be fair, there's one part of that is correct.
What's that?
It's depressing. Yes, most of the book is really
no, there's 2
depressing.
things right. It's also long.
That is true.
That is true. It's just not boring.
Most of it.
Whoa! What is this? Okay.